Hi guys, today we're going to learn how to tack and jibe safely and efficiently. That's our objective for the day. Okay, so first of all, does anybody know what tacking is? Have you ever heard of the term tacking? How about jibing? No? Okay guys, so if the wind is coming from the top up here and your boat is facing towards the wind, can you sail right into the wind?
No.
No? Why not?
You just can't.
Okay, good enough. The sails don't work that way. When they're in the wind, they just flop around like that and they don't work. So, to go from this side, sailing going forward, to this side, going forward, you need to do something called tacking. When you tack, you turn the boat and the sails go from one side to the other. Okay? So a tack is when you turn and the bow of the boat, which is the front, goes through the wind, okay? So tacking is when the front goes through the wind. The opposite of that is called jibing, okay? So when you're going downwind like this, if you want to sail straight down, you can do that. But sometimes you have to sail on angles, just like you have to do when you're going upwind and tacking. So you're going to be switching the sails from one side to the other by turning the boat just like before. But instead of the front of the boat, the bow, going through the wind, you're going to have the stern, the back of the boat, going through the wind instead. Everyone get that? Okay, so what's tacking now?
When the front of the boat goes through the wind.
Good job. And how about jibing?
When the back of the boat goes through the wind.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So, which one would you assume is more dangerous out of the two of them?
Tacking.
No. Tacking is not as dangerous, okay? Because when the front of the boat goes through the wind, the sails do what's called luffing, and they have no air in them, okay? So if the sails don't have any air in them, then they have no power, and they're not going to, if they hit you, it's not going to be as hard. When you jibe, though, the wind is going to be powering up the sails all the time. So when the sail switches sides, it's going to fly over to the other side, and it can hit you in the head, and that's why, and a boom can hit you in the head, and that's why it's called the boom. Okay, guys? So, jibing is more dangerous because when you jibe, the boom can swing across because the sails are always powered up, and it can hit you in the head and really hurt you, okay? So you got to be really careful when you're jibing. Okay, guys? So I'm going to do a little demonstration here for you. I'm going to show you how to properly tack and jibe the boat, okay? So in my front hand here, I'm going to have my main sheet. We're going to practice like we're in a 420, okay? And in the back hand, I'm going to have my tiller, okay? So, when you go to tack, you're going to want to push the tiller away from you. That's going to make you turn through the wind. And you're going to duck under the boom, switch behind your back, and then sit down on the other side. Okay? Does everyone get that? Yeah.
Why are you pushing if you're going that way?
Okay, so the way the rudder works on a sailboat is because it's like this in the water, if you pull it, it's going to turn like this and turn the boat like this, okay? Which is just going to be away from the wind and you're going to start going downwind, which is just going to speed you up and it's going to go the complete opposite way. But if you push the tiller, then you're going to turn this way, the rudder's going to turn this way, and you're going to come up and you're going to round up towards the wind, okay? So one thing you got to make sure when you're pushing that tiller is that you give it it's got to be the right amount, okay? If you push it too little, you're just going to stop in irons and you're just going to stop dead in the water. But if you push it too much, then the rudder turns in the water and becomes like a brake and stops the boat. And that could also end you up in irons. It happens a lot more on lasers than 420s. But if you really push it, you just end up sticking in irons and it's harder to get out of. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to push the tiller, duck, the boom's going to come across, stand up, switch behind your back, the tiller's now going to be in this hand, and the main sheet in this one, and then you're going to sit back down on the other side. Okay? So the next thing we're going to learn about is jibing. So when you jibe, it's almost the same as a tack, except because the sails are powered up the whole time, like I stated earlier, you're going to have to be really careful, and you're going to have to do something called controlling your jibe. So you're going to be looking forwards towards the front, and you're going to have your main sheets in your front hand, tiller in your back hand. You're going to do the same thing as a tack, except instead of pushing the tiller, you're going to pull it, and you're going to pull in your main sheets at the same time. Then you're going to grab them all in a bunch, and you're going to swing the boom over top of everyone's head in the boat, okay? This is very important because if you don't swing the boom over yourself, it can crash over, and that's when people can really get hurt. So again, you're going to pull the tiller towards you, grab the main sheets, swing them over, make sure you're facing forward the whole time, switch behind your back, and then you can sit down on the other side again. Okay, does that make more sense to everybody? Perfect. Okay, are there any questions? Anybody want to give this a try? And try and do a tack or a jibe, theoretically? Sure, Bailey, come on up.
So am I sailing this way?
Yeah, so that's going to be the front of the boat.
Okay. So what do I have here? Is this the main sheet?
Yes.
And then I'm holding the tiller in this hand?
Yeah, and I want you to do a good tack, okay?
Okay, so when you're tacking, you push the tiller.
Yep.
And then duck under from the boom, switch, behind my back, sit back down, and grab opposite hands, right?
Perfect.
Okay.
Good job. Okay, Rachel, would you like to try a role-playing demonstration of a jibe?
Sure.
Okay.
Alright, so I have the main sheet in this hand and the tiller in this hand, like
Yep.
she just did. And then I'm going to head up a little bit and pull in my main sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to pull the tiller and grab my main sheets and then pull it across and switch behind my back.
Yep.
Right?
Perfect. So what do you think you're doing when you're pulling the main sheet across like that?
Controlling the sail.
Perfect. That's what you're doing. Amelia, why do you want to control the sail?
It doesn't swing over.
What can happen when it swings over like that?
Hit you in the head.
Exactly. Okay, so that's one of the safety things when you have to do when you're jibing is it's a controlled jibe, and you want to make sure you do that safely because that's when a lot of the injuries can occur on a sailboat is if you make an incorrect jibe or a crash jibe as they call it, and the boom crashes across and hits somebody. That can be extremely dangerous. So you got to really watch out for that, and we're going to make sure that you're doing that right on the water when we get out there. Okay. Okay, guys. Another thing you have to make sure you're doing is you're always facing the front. So if this is the front of the boat over here, you want to make sure that when you're tacking or jibing, you're always going to face the front of the boat, okay? It's really important because you have to make sure that there are no other boats around before you tack or jibe, just so you don't hit them. Because when you start your tack, you don't have any more rights on the waterway, and somebody else could come by and you don't want to hit them. Because at that point, it would be your fault if you're still inside that tack, okay? So make sure you're always looking forwards, even when you switch, okay? See, I'm always going to be looking forwards, duck under, and I'm still looking forwards when I start going the other way. And the same thing for a jibe, you're going to do exactly the same thing. So, is there anybody that has questions about rudder movements or how to switch the sheets between your hands or anything? Yes, Amelia.
I'm confused how it goes the opposite way.
Okay, so when you've got your sailboat right here, right? You're going to have the rudder sticking off the back. When you're going to, if you push your tiller this way, the rudder is going to turn like this, okay? So that's your boat then. When you push it, the rudder turns like that. When the rudder turns, it forces the air, or the water, sorry, like this around the rudder, which turns the boat this way. Okay? Does that make more sense? And the opposite happens when you pull the tiller towards you. It's going to turn the opposite way, and the water will flow the other way around it, sending you in the other direction, okay? So that's how the tiller works and moves the rudder. So it's the opposite of driving a car pretty much. So if you want to go left, you're going to push right. And if you want to go right, you're going to pull left. Okay?
Got it.
Thank you guys for being a good class today.
Thank you for teaching us.
Yeah.
Yay. So excited to go sailing now. Sailing!
Sailing.
Finally go a different direction other than straight.
Yeah.